BigFooty Blues. BigFooty Blues. BigFooty Blues. Come on, the BigFooty Blues.
Welcome to episode 7 of the 2015 BigFooty Blues Podcast, or if you prefer, week 2 of the Carlton rebuild. Another week, another loss, so it was a little bit of business as usual, except for a spot of controversy surrounding the throwing of punches at Paul Chapman. Yes, that's right. ShanDog is fortunate to escape suspension from the podcast for 3 weeks after he decided not to throw a punch at Chappie. Chris Yaron is pretty disappointed in you, Shan?
Oh, I tried to put the team first, you know. I'm a little. I have let everyone down, though. I will apologise. Yeah, okay.
With us also, after having served her own voluntary suspension in sympathy, it's Mebby. Hey, Mebby.
Hello, I'm back.
You're back. You still the rumours. You can call off the dogs, call off the rumours. She is alive and well, and back on the podcast.
I am alive and well. I just was having a sabbatical.
We got the band back together.
That's right.
All right, guys. With no further ado, we'll just go straight into the weekend wake.
This is the weekend wake.
So our last game, which seems like an age ago now, it was a Saturday afternoon at the MCG. Carlton 11-18, 84 went down to Asterix 16-9, 105. Goals for Carlton: Henderson 2, Everett 2, singles to Judd, Gibbs, Armfield, Bell, Jones, Walker, Allard. Best for Carlton: Murphy, Walker, Carazzo, Cripps, Simpson, Armfield, and Wood. As we heard, Chris Yaron has copped a 3-match suspension out of that. First, let's have a little. Let's address this Chris Yaron suspension first, shall we?
Sure.
There's some different schools of thought. The board seems to be quite divided on this one.
Yeah, you've definitely got the. I think the guys who want, or happy to see that, and happy that Yaz has stood up for himself and whatnot. I can kind of understand that argument because I do feel like the team's been one that's been bullied around for a few years, and I can definitely get it. But look, you can't left hook someone and expect to get away with it. It's a bit silly.
I think if the shoe was on the other foot, and if it was Chapman that punched Yaron, there would be Carlton supporters calling for him to be banned for life.
Yeah.
But because it's the other way around, everyone's saying, oh, you know, he's flying the flag for the team and blah, blah, blah. But to me, there's a difference between being a tough guy and putting your head over the ball like we would expect and hope that our players would do, and breaking the rules and punching someone in the face, which isn't part of the game. So I think it was a stupid thing to do. I think it's terrible timing considering we're up against St Kilda this week, and I think we've got Brisbane for his 3rd week of suspension, and they're 2 winnable games that we need the best players that we can have on the field so that we have a better chance of winning, and he's going to be sitting in the stands watching on. So I think it was a stupid thing to do, and he had plenty of other avenues to prove how tough he is.
There was a fair bit of provocation there. No doubt he had a brain snap in my mind. He did go a little bit far. He did get sucked in by the wily veteran. I am from the school of thought that I am getting sick of seeing Carlton getting bullied and not really standing up for themselves. Didn't want to see it go that far. I do like pose with Yaron with a fistful of Chappie's Guernsey and with a nasty look on his face. That's the sort of aggression you do like to see. If only he hadn't thrown the punch with it. But it. There was a rousing sound of applause across households all over the country by the sounds of it. It wasn't just Carlton supporters thinking, thank God somebody's standing up. There was quite a few others who were happy to see Happy Chappie, to see him go down like that.
Well, to be honest, like, it is Paul Chapman and he is a friggin' flog, and I'm sure there's plenty of footballers who've wanted to punch him in the face, but they haven't done it. And people like Tom Bell stand up for themselves perfectly fine without punching people in the face. I think there's a way that you can be aggressive and stand up for yourself and not get pushed around. That's within the rules, and that's what Carlton should be aiming to do.
Was the 3 weeks fair? I think it was.
I think it was. Good record.
Yeah.
They did say it's up to the jury to decide how much provocation came into it. So I reckon they took a week off for the record and they took a week off for the provocation. So that's probably. I said I'd be ecstatic with 2, but expected 3, and that's what it was. Meanwhile, Chapman did a David Polkinghorne and threw Yaron under a bus. Basically,
it just shows what a top bloke he is.
Yeah, proving how punchable he is.
yeah, exactly. And also Goddard tried to get Gibbs suspended with his whole in the face routine.
Well, see, now there's a face I'd like to punch.
Yeah.
Is Brendon Goddard's BJ. Like, what a shit bloke.
I
But
cannot believe that he was almost at Carlton were it not for our salary cap breaches, and we mourned the loss of Goddard for years.
Yeah, dodged the bullet
see, that
there.
just shows that our salary cap breaches actually were a positive in some respects.
Yeah.
We might have been sent down to the bottom of the ladder for 10 years, but at least we don't have Brendon Goddard playing for us.
The game itself. What did we think about? Okay, what's your highlight? What was your main highlight for Carlton? I suspect we're going to be similarly on the same page, but
I reckon it was the fact that we played out the game. You know, we sort of fell behind in the second and third quarter, and I think most people would have thought, oh, here we go again. But regardless of whether Essendon faded a little bit, we actually fought out the game there, and a really optimistic person might say if we had a kick straight, we could have won it, but you know, that's neither here nor there. You've got to kick the goals. If you don't, then it doesn't really matter how many shots you had on goal. But we fought it out. It seemed like the intensity was a lot better as well, and that's the sort of stuff we're looking for in the team, comparing it to the first few weeks. So that was definitely the positive that I took away.
Also a negative for mine, the fact that we did that in that last quarter. As soon as we believed, we suddenly thought we were in with a shot. When we were so far behind, you get six goals behind, then decide, hey, we can still win this, and then you start trying and busting a gut. When they hadn't really been doing that in the second and third quarters, the desperation that last quarter is better than anything the rest of the game, and you'd kind of want to see that manic attack throughout the whole game. So it was good to see. It was probably never going to pull off a victory for us. So in a way, it was just a massive tease.
Mm. I do think, looking at, I think the club YouTube channel and website had some footage from leading up into the St Kilda game. They had an old 2011 game where Andrew Walker kicked the goal right before the siren for us to win over the Saints. And looking through the highlights on that, I was struck by how fast we were chasing, moving, our speed across the ground was so much more than what it seems like we have been in the first few weeks. And I'm wondering how much that's got to do with it. People have been saying, oh, we're not unfit, we're not this and that, but I think we've got a slow team. And unless we bring that intensity, then it looks like we're just being lethargic and rubbish.
Have Hawthorn got a slow team though, Shad?
Oh, I don't know.
They're not fleet of foot across the board, are they?
Maybe not, but I think the ability for them to move the ball so well around the ground kind of makes up for that. The accuracy with the kicking and the good team structures of leading and creating space sort of negates maybe any slowness that they have.
I guess that's my point, whether our structure is right and our skills are obviously down. So it's sort of a combination. Sometimes we think it's just one thing when it's really a combination of a few things.
Yeah, it's just not working.
Maddie, did you get anything out of the game?
Well, I haven't actually watched it. So to be honest, my positive was going to the Northern Blues game instead and seeing quite a tight-knit and competitive unit over there. A lot of the Carlton-listed boys that are playing tomorrow were playing, hopefully. So I guess it's still kind of relevant. But, yeah, I didn't actually watch the Essendon game because there were so many negative posts after it that I just couldn't be bothered.
It's probably a good idea.
A young man by the name of Kieran or Casey Byrne came on for just over a quarter, gathered 9 possessions, really provided a spark and looked like he had been playing for ages.
Yeah, and that little bit of speed that he brought on, I think that was he seemed, maybe it was just coincidental or whatnot, but it really seemed like he was the catalyst for us to be moving the ball better back from half back and through the middle. He linked up a couple of times with some good 1-2s and really put the afterburners on to deliver it forward, and it made us look so much better. And I guess that again goes into the way that we were moving the ball and the speed in the legs and everything. When he came on, it seemed the balance seemed to shift a little bit. So it was really disappointing that he hurt himself during the week.
Yeah, a couple of players seem to have hurt themselves during the week. That was a bit strange.
What are they doing at training?
I don't know.
Like
do you think
gymnastics?
Playing a little bit of dunks and drakes, maybe with Juddy, for example?
No. No, definitely with Juddy. I'm pretty sure at the start of the year they would have sat down and gone, right, how many games is he going to play and which ones will they be? You wouldn't send him over here on the plane anyway, but...
Yeah, very disappointed that Byrne won't be, though, because from that quarter that he played, it was like, gee, looks like we've really got to play here. I know Harker has talked him up for a long time, watching him in the Northern Blues, saying, geez, he could be anything, and I think he's dead right. After that one quarter, most people were going, well, that's it, lock him in the team, start him on the ground.
I was thinking that during the NAB challenge because the way he just pushes off his opponent and keeps ball side open for himself to go back and sort of... he just reads the play very well for an Irish lad, incredibly well, and he's got good foot skills like they all do, which is a sad indictment on the rest of our team.
He's my favourite out of the three Irish boys, actually, from watching them in the Northern Blues last year. He's my favourite. And he was a forward, I think, as SC Blue bangs on about all the time. See, someone's paying attention to you, mate. He was a forward in Gaelic football, so it looks like it's going to be a pretty smooth transition for him.
I get the feeling he'll be able to play all over the ground. Just on the point, on our dominance, we actually smashed them in the clearances and the contested possessions, and we'd really be happy with that 9 times out of 10. To be beaten so resoundingly on the outside, I think that does point to, probably our lack of run, our lack of pace, as you were alluding to, Shan. All right, with that in mind, let's go straight to pre-game pep talk.
Pre-game pep talk.
So on Saturday, ANZAC Day, at 1:10 p.m. New Zealand time, or 11:10 a.m. in the Eastern States, Carlton take on St Kilda. I'll barely be awake. 11:10. Wow. All right, that'll be fun.
That's 10:40 for me here.
10:40
in Adelaide, and geez, feel sorry for you guys in Perth, the Perth crew. You only have to get up at 7 o'clock and watch it.
Might as well not go to bed, to be honest.
Pretty much dawn service and then off to the footy.
The outs for Carlton first. Chris Judd with this back injury, if it is an injury.
That's with Dr. Evil quotation marks.
I think
injury.
First class was all full, and he didn't want the didn't like the cushioning in economy. Chris Yarran with the aforementioned suspension, and Casey Byrne with the hamstring. We also talked about ins for Carlton. Very interesting. Jason Tutt's back in the side after a week out. Blaine Boakhorst will make his debut. Had a pretty good game in the VFL, according to Mebby. And good to see a lot of run and ball usage. And last and definitely not least, Dylan Buckley has made his way back into the side. Comments, please, Mebby.
Oh my God, I'm so freaking excited. So Boakhorst I thought would be a definite in. I know that I hadn't had huge raps on him from the NAB Challenge games, but he's definitely come a long way. Still probably won't play 4 quarters. I'm assuming he'll be the sub because he did tend to tire out in the last quarter. But
perhaps maybe subbed off.
Well, yeah, but then if we get an injury, we're stuck with him on the ground for all 4 quarters, and it's going to be like Clem Smith all over again. But different, obviously. I would describe him as a much better Kane Lucas. He did sort of seagull a little bit at the start and was a little bit hesitant when it came to putting his body on the line. But I think once he warmed into the pace of the game, he threw himself in there a little bit more. With regards to Buckley, I thought he would be a 50-50 chance for tomorrow, maybe because there's quite a few injuries. He's getting another shot, which obviously I'm really excited about. But he didn't have a huge impact, he didn't have a huge amount of possessions, but when he did have the ball, it had good impact. Like, he set up a couple of really nice goals. And if you want run and carry in our side, then Boakhurst and Buckley are the two that you want. But with Tart didn't really do it for me. I know he had 28, I think, possessions and 3 goals, but his goals all came quite late in the game when everybody else was run out on their feet. And I didn't think his possessions were all that influential. But give a bloke a chance. And I'm really, really, really disappointed that Wiley isn't playing tomorrow and he withdrew from the squad, because he was the best on ground last week, and I was so excited to see him come in. I think he's really going to be something special, and I think Jack might be the steak knives in that trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with what you were saying there. It seems to be the general sentiment on the boards is that everyone's very happy to see Buckley in there, and a bit disappointed that Wiley isn't playing after his really good VFL match. So, yeah, the question, I think they're good ins, and especially if Tart is going to get put up in the forward half and to try and keep pressure on with his speed and being a smaller player from half forward onwards, because we don't really have. I mean, Menzel's not there, which is a little bit surprising. Actually, I thought he might have only been out for a week. But yeah, no Menzel in the forward line, so we're kind of short of short players, short of smalls. So it might be good to have Tart up there for that, and that might be what he's coming in for. And Buckley can, I guess, go between that Yarran role and being up forward perhaps as well. So I think the ins are really good, and it is a shame that Wiley isn't there, because from what people are saying, he looks like someone who can be playing plenty of games for us.
Yeah, well, the Saints are obviously they're young and they're rebuilding, but they are a running side. They do like to move the ball fairly quick, and they've shown a few decent sides. And I think just the fact that we were so badly shown up on the outside by an Essendon side that is not really express. They just move the ball well. I think we probably got a little bit scared. We've gone for 3 running players this week to sort of counterbalance all those, your tagging types, your Curnow and your Bell and your Carazzo. And Armfield sort of type. So we're going to look fairly quick as long as we can maintain possession. So if nothing else, if it all goes pear shaped for us, at least we're going to. It's not going to be a slog unless. Well, that's a good point. Maybe he's actually in Wellington as we speak.
I am.
Our
I went
international
across the
correspondent.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the weather expected to be?
Today was it was really sunny, but it was, I think, a top of 17 degrees, and tomorrow's looking to be the same. But there was an earthquake here today and one yesterday with a few aftershocks. So hopefully there's no earthquakes tomorrow. Cameron Wood just tweeted saying the old pre-game earthquake trick, hey, something different. So I don't know. Hopefully there's no earthquakes, I suppose.
Well, hopefully the only earthquake is if Levi starts to split a few packs.
Oh,
Yeah, you make the earth move, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do that when HBF makes a dad joke that I don't find funny. I'm like, yeah.
I was actually thinking the song, and I thought, no, I'm not going to sing it. Yeah,
Great the song. Go on, you start. I'll join in. I promise.
I feel the earth.
Yeah, I'm not joining in. I'm lying. I don't think it's crossed.
Maybe just set me up.
Yeah.
So, are we going to win the game? How much? And who's going to be our stars?
I think we're a definite chance of winning this game. I've said this every game so far, but I think we're definitely going to win this one. We've got a better team than St Kilda. I really believe that. I really hope that's the case too. But I think we're going to win. I think there's every chance of perhaps a late change as well, with perhaps someone like Allard or Curnow coming out of the team just to make sure that we've got that speed for the coverage of the St Kilda runners in there, because we've got Dick, Nick Graham, and Christian Jackson at the emergencies. We might see one of those come in instead. But look, no Rewalt for St Kilda. I think as long as we win that midfield battle and we won the contested ball last week, we keep that up and fix up the outside run issue, we should win by 10 goals.
Oh, nice.
Wowee. I'm thinking it's going to be a very ugly game of football with the two teams that are playing tomorrow. I think there's a high chance we'll win on behinds, not goals. Oh, God, I'm nervous. I would like to see Jack come in, actually. I don't know who to take out because obviously I didn't see the game last week, but I would like to see him get another shot. Isn't Jamo injured?
Yeah, apparently he's going to get up for the game, though. He trained okay, is what I think a few people said on the boards.
But let's be real. Malthouse is a wily little fox when it comes to late changes. So Jamo might not get up for the game. I'd like to see Jack come in. But I think we'll win, and I think we'll win by 2 goals and 9 behinds.
I couldn't.
I don't know what that works out to because I'm terrible at maths, but
Look, it's too early. I'm going to have a few morning coffees. If we start missing early, I don't know. I'm grouchy when I first wake up in the morning. Look, happy 100th game to Andres Everett.
Yeah, well done.
What a pickup he's been for us. So definitely part of our top dozen or so players, and walk up start every week. So look, I expect Carlton to win as well, and I'm not going to give any predictions as to margin. I'm hoping and praying. We win. People say, well, so you should. We lose, and it's going to be a tough week, fellas.
Well, to be honest, because I wore my Carlton jumper to the airport today, and that we were surrounded by St Kilda supporters. But every time we spoke to someone, they were like, "Oh God, who knows? It could go either way. We're fighting for the spoon, aren't we? Really?" And everyone just seems really like, "Oh God, this is going to be rough tomorrow."
Well, they've got some good young players, St Kilda, and they talk about St Kilda being undermanned. They're missing Rewalt, Montagna, Ray, maybe if it had a pinch. We're missing about 7 of our best 22.
Yeah, but no one cares about us.
No, nobody makes excuses for Carlton.
None of our players are any good, apparently.
No.
Not Judd. Whatever. What's he done for us lately? Carried the team for a decade.
Media has been all over Mick Malthouse this week again, and whether Carlton are going to re-sign him, whether they should re-sign him. Players that we should be looking at trading. So obviously Gibbs and Murphy have copped a fair bit. Murphy's come out again and said he wants to be our next premiership captain, and the players all love Mick and want him to stay. So the club itself, Stephen Trigger spoke. He's been all over the media this week as well, and he's spoken very well, very articulately. He does put a few journos in their place, but he's very non-committal as to what's going to happen. As far as coaching, we're going to see mid-season. So we drop this game, and that mid-season review is not going to go well.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the club just needs to keep out of the media at the moment. Everything that someone says is really has a lot of negativity thrown towards it, even no matter how positive the message is. So, might be just about time to try and it seems like we have been in the media a lot in the last week or two. So, let's just pull back and let the football do the talking for a little while. There's nothing major is going to change anytime very soon. So let's just play football.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think Trigger's right to put it off until mid-season. I mean, I would hate to be judged based on the sample size that they're running with this year. I mean, obviously we've got the last 2 years as well, but I think because the messages to the public have been quite mixed over the last 2 years, that's why there's so much consternation when it comes to what we're going to do with our coach.
Yeah, true.
It's still mixed, Benny. The players and Mick are saying that we want to win. We're in there to win, and so forth. And they're basically dismissing the whole rebuilding stuff. And while the club themselves are saying we're being honest with the fans and telling them we're rebuilding, so we're still wondering if they're on the same page.
Totally agree with you.
Mick's trying to win and not worry about rebuilding because he wants to keep his job. It's a little bit of a cluster, you know what?
No, I totally agree with you. I think they all need to get on the same page, and whether they're going to lie to the fans and the members and say, we're not rebuilding, whatever, but at least they'd be giving a consistent message. It's ridiculous to hear the coach say, Bo Costa's not getting a game, he needs to prove himself, and then he's selected this weekend. And just for him to come out and say, Levi's not getting a game until he kicks goals, and then he gets a game after kicking no goals. Like, it's not just the mixed messages from the board to Mick, it's mixed messages from Mick to Mick. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's absolutely no consistency in anything that's coming out of the club at the moment, and I think that's contributing to this really murky, what the beep, I'll save you from censoring, is going on with the club.
Competing forces again. You still got Bruce Matheson dial a quote talking about how crap Kernahan and Greg Swan were. You know,
that really annoyed me.
Saying we should be putting players, you know, trading some of our gun players. The club's saying, hey, you know, we're not indebted to power brokers and stuff. We're our own club and we need you. Power brokers don't do that much for us. Yet nobody's checking this guy again.
Yep, and I think it's so disrespectful for him to come in and say that about the previous administration. We all know that they made mistakes, but everybody does, and let's just move on. Let's just park it. It happened, whatever, and let's just concentrate on the future rather than taking pot shots at the people that came before all the time. It's just ridiculous.
Totally agree. All right, I think we'll leave it on that note. Did anybody else have anything they want to say?
Go Blues.
Then we'll edit
I
this
still
bit out.
love them. I know that I've been a little bit more negative this year than what I have been in the past, but I think it's because reality has set in now. I think that's the same for a lot of us. But at the end of the day, we'll always be Blues supporters, no matter what happens. We've been through worse than this, and we're definitely going to come out the other side.
Yeah, it's a good time of change at the moment, and I'm glad it's happening.
Alrighty. All right, thanks for joining us once again. Thank you, Mebby, for joining us all the way from New Zealand using a tin can and a piece of string.
Yeah, well, I had to do some vocal exercises so I didn't put on that stupid accent when I was talking. So yeah, no, you're welcome. I'll wave to you from the Cape Town.
I'll definitely be looking out for you.
Yeah.
And thank you, ShanDog, once more.
No worries, thank you. I can't do accents, so I won't try.
That was really good. Well done.
Well done. You sounded exactly like ShanDog. And it is a Friday night podcast. We almost didn't get one in the can this week, but we will endeavour to get one out earlier next week, at least one. And until then, go Baggers.
Go Blues.
Yeah, and thanks for listening, Azul.
Yeah.
Choice, bro.
See you guys.
See ya.